Dude, Luke, the printer's still busted, man. What the fuck?
How's it going, everybody? Welcome to episode 70 of the Topless Robot podcast, the A-side. My name is Ryan.
Side A.
Yep. Hey, I'm Ty, and since this is episode 70, it's the Golden Oldies one. You know, pretty soon we're going to be on the decline, and at probably episode 92, this whole thing will just disappear from the internet and we'll die.
Yeah, but then we'll get the Blue Album.
I hope not.
Introduce yourself.
Hey, hi, my name is Neil Patterson, a.k.a. Neil P., a.k.a. Nebo, and I'm a dude, and I'm here with my friends, Ryan Shrimp and Ty. Hi.
My name's Rob.
Rob and I played together for 5 years in a band called Downtown Brown, and that's how we,
That's kind of how we all know each other.
Yeah, I met all of you gentlemen through, we met Rob through Downtown Brown too, so it's fun.
Yeah, I used to come see him before I joined the band.
Yeah. I met you because you crashed at my house.
Yeah, we played out with the Psycho Stick.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I met you because we played a show with you. You were nice enough to let us on that show, I think. I can't remember. I know I reached out to you.
I don't know if it was up to me.
And I reached out to Darwin. So I reached out to you and I was like, hey, we've got, these friends in common and I've got this new band called Sparklefuck. We'd really love to play with you. Okay. And I can't remember if you put us asked for us to be put on that show. Or
was it when we were headlining at the Frequency?
Yeah.
Okay.
Remember, because it was, so our first show together was Sparklefuck, Downtown Brown, and Fan Off Bird Safe. That drummer that had the stupid, ridiculously sized kit.
Were they the first band or the second
they were.
band?
Or no, I think we were the first band. We would have had to have been. Or no, they were the first band because of the drummer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad we met because, and that's what I was explaining on a recent podcast of mine is that a chance occurrence turns into a lifelong friendship. And it's happened to me so many times, a countless number of times. That some of my favorite people in the world I just met on accident one night on tour, and they were like, hey, come stay over at our house. Next thing we know, it's like we've known each other for 10, 11 years.
Hell yeah.
And that's the way it works. And that's why music is awesome, because if you find people with common interests in different cities and you realize that you're not so alone. There's nerds everywhere. So.
Yeah, dude. At this point, we've been friends for 8 years, I think, because I think the first time we played together was 2012.
I want to say like Ron, I want to say it was like 09.
It was definitely not 09 because Sparklefuck wasn't together in 09.
Okay.
Sparklefuck formed in 2010 or 2011. So the earliest that it could have been is 2011.
I do have spreadsheets of all these gigs.
I have the documents.
Yeah, starting the bottom of this shit.
No, starting in 2011, I started documenting every single show we played because I'd been maybe like 2 or 3 years sober at that point, and I started getting organized. So I could access the documents. I don't know what fucking year it was, but we've known each other. If it's 2020, we've known each other at least like 8 or 9 years.
8 or 9 years.
It's crazy.
You guys are old souls, basically. Like, it doesn't matter how long you've known each other. You just you connect on a molecular level.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
he's my brother.
When we
he felt like for a second there, it's like you're like, it's like I don't want to connect on a molecular level anymore.
When I go to bed at night, I know he's there with me.
Yep.
No matter how much space physically is in between us.
One time, Neil was making a pot, like a clay pot, and he could feel Ryan's aura behind him, helping him shape the pot.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I should technically explain what's going on for listeners who are really confused as to where Dan and Brooks and Tyler are. Though
they've been replaced by a better Tyler, one that doesn't need LER at the end of his name, one that has one that keeps it close and simple.
Actually, kind of weirdly, Rob's a great fill-in for Dan. Like he's got the look and the demeanor. Ty's a great fill-in for Tyler.
Yeah,
and is just a little too enthusiastic about
Give me back my name.
Give me back my son.
And Neil's a great fill-in for Brooks because you just say some of the weirdest random shit sometimes, and it's fucking great.
So yeah, we're the new crew. Get used to it.
Yeah.
We'll see you next week.
So, Ty, myself, and Rob are out here for NAMM. Neil just lives here. Yep. And so the podcast crew is back home. And so this is one of 2 podcasts that we're releasing at NAMM. We already recorded the other one. But this is side A because this is the more familiar style setting. We weren't able to do that with the other one. So
This is also a low energy podcast because we're at the end of NAMM.
Oh, yeah.
And we're like super fucking just absolutely tired.
Yeah, I got 2 hours of sleep last night.
You know
what? We had a huge house
like,
party.
speak for yourself, dudes, because I just drank fucking 3 cups of that Starbucks over there. So
Yeah, you can't stop moving.
you guys can be. Yeah, I'm like sitting here just.
It's like I should have drank half of that or something.
I did. Well, if no, because this is what happened. I poured a cup and I'm like, "There's not much left." And turns out there was like a whole cup.
and then there's not much left in it. As he keeps pouring, he's like, maybe. Nah,
He said I could have
now
it.
there's definitely not
He
that
said
much
I could
left.
have it. He could have just been like, "I want the rest," and I would have been like, "Okay," because that was the deal. But he said I could have it, so I ended up having like 2 large glasses of coffee.
Neil's like the Jesus of coffee, and it's like, oh, there's only enough to feed one of us. Wait, ah.
And one of us, by I mean one, I mean me.
And so Ty here is in a
Hey.
band called Lords of the Trident.
Yep, we're the
And-
most metal band on earth. We do fire and explosions and confetti and also music sometimes. And we have a YouTube channel, lordsofthetrident.com, where there's extra fire on everything. Make sure if you go to it,
He's not lying.
you have to use the most metal browser that you have, which is clearly Google Chrome, because there's no other browsers that are named after a metal.
Yep.
Otherwise, your computer might melt. So, like, I'm just telling you ahead of time. Dell already has like an extended warranty program for people who've checked out Lords of the Trident music without fucking using Chrome. So don't. We're not liable is all I'm saying. But yeah, lordsofthetrident.com, youtube.com/Lords of the Trident. We're on Twitter, we're on Reverb Nation, we're on Pornhub, we're on all the different ones. We got
And then we got Neil here with Downtown Brown, the singer, the guitarist, the everything of Downtown Brown, except drums and bass.
Yeah.
And then Rob from ellyeahdehd.
Oh, yeah, dude.
yeah, dude.
Oh yeah, dude.
ellyeahdehd.
Yeah, dude.
Oh yeah, dude.
No, we just put out a new record called Yeah, Dude. That's on Spotify and all that. We're like a weird Frank Zappa punk band with a singer who sounds like a male Janis Joplin.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah,
dude.
dude.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Hell yeah, dude.
Oh, and the name's spelled all stupid. It's ELL, yeah, DEHD.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, dude.
All right, let's get back to the regular Topless Robot content. Number 1, the crisis in Ukraine. How do you feel about it?
I live like the bubble I live in right now. I'm not even aware what's going on in Ukraine.
Oh no, I was just it's a joke.
Yeah.
it was a poorly placed
sometimes-
joke.
No, because
sometimes-
I'm down to learn about stuff. I'm a spongy guy. Like my base knowledge is pretty low, but if we start talking about something, I'll retain a good amount of it.
Yeah.
We do usually kind of touch on the nerdier topics, but I think that would probably just be me and Ty nerding out over.
I mean, we all
one thing or
grew
another,
up
You're-
like consuming a lot of the same stuff.
Yeah.
you know?
You're nerdy.
I mean, I don't know. Like as far as the nerdiness of now is concerned, I'm a little
Yeah.
disconnected. I don't
So like,
I don't play video games now. I don't. I mean, I do watch a lot of YouTube. I don't know.
Nice.
Does that constitute as being nerdy? I don't know.
Yeah, sure.
What's nerdy?
well, so for example,
Programming.
you know,
This guy knows about SEO. That's pretty nerdy.
cool. Get us some hits.
I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is your website utilizing WordPress? Because
Yes.
if so, it'll increase your SEO. Whatever that means.
So, are you familiar with Cyberpunk 2077?
No.
It's a new game that everyone's been incredibly hyped for.
Yeah.
Is Travis Barker on the soundtrack?
No, but Keanu Reeves is in it.
Oh, okay. I did see the trailer
Yeah.
that everyone flipped out about.
I think the soundtrack is done by The Damned.
Oh, that's cool. Now, this is my question. In the video game, like Keanu Reeves, his likeness appears and his voice, both?
Yes.
Yeah.
So he plays himself or a character?
He plays a character. He
Okay.
plays a rock star in that universe.
Now, in this video game, does he go, whoa?
Probably.
I mean, yeah.
Oh, you don't know yet?
No.
It's not out yet?
It's not out yet.
Oh, okay.
So that's the news, is it was going to be coming out next month, I think. Next month or March. And it got pushed back to September.
As long as at some point in the video game, it does a close-up and he takes off his sunglasses and he goes, whoa.
They already do in the trailer. They have him he'd squat down and takes the sunglasses off.
And he goes, whoa.
I don't think he goes actually.
Does he go, excellent?
Do they do the air guitar? Like his
No, he's
Wild Stallion?
he will be.
Yeah, he will be. Yeah, Bill and Ted 3.
Yeah.
Bill and Ted Face the Music. It's currently in production.
They just wrapped.
Oh, they wrapped.
Because
Okay. I'm ready.
They shot at the original Circle K.
Oh, that's amazing.
In Arizona, in Tempe.
Oh, the original. Okay, is that where they shot in the 80s?
Yep.
Okay. When Rufus came down,
Yeah.
rest in peace, George Carlin.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. I got to see George Carlin live before he passed, and he was in kind of rough shape, but it definitely was amazing to see a legend live.
It would be incredible.
Yeah, and my buddy had like a bunch of money to burn at the time, and he's like, "Oh, you want to go see Carlin?" And I'm like, "Yes." And then we went. Then when we went, we mobbed out there and saw Carlin.
I've only gotten to see Bill Cosby.
Are you being serious?
Yes.
You've seen Bill Cosby
Yes.
live?
Wow.
In Jacksonville, Florida, when I was young.
You're like, I've only seen Bill Cosby, and it was 2 weeks ago, and it was a very tense audience. Now, he's been in jail for a minute.
Yeah,
He really has.
Yep.
Well, fuck
he's,
that guy.
He's gonna die in jail.
Yep. Jello.
Well, R. Kelly's in jail. Bill Cosby's in jail. There's some justice out there.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe a speck.
A little.
What do you think his jail name is? Puddin' Pop? Because you know that he would have like a fucking like everybody needs a jail name. Well, okay, that's a great topic. Like, what's everybody's jail name?
I don't know. I don't think about these kind of things. I can't even speculate.
I would want it to be something like a very weird non sequitur, like, hey, it's Insulation Jones.
Yeah.
You know? Why do we call him that? Well, one time he found the fucking insulation on the ceiling and he made a wine out of it, like toilet wine.
He's drinking the insulation wine.
Insulation Jones.
It sounds like it'd be toxic to consume.
Well, yeah, I mean,
wine. Yeah.
But when
Pruno is toxic to consume.
When you're
What,
in
toilet
jail,
wine?
though,
Yeah, Pruno. That
What's
shit'll
Pruno?
kill you. That's what toilet wine is. Pruno. Yeah.
Huh.
it's
Shit'll
a mix of
fucking kill you.
prunes and Drano. It's
Sounds delicious. I'm gonna try some.
yeah, that's a good album title.
I'm shaking a lot. Like I'm very like.
Yeah. So you have a podcast
Yes, I do.
called Supcast.
It's called Subcast with Neil P.
You should do like a really intense zoom in on his face, like,
Yeah,
in that
right.
silence.
Don't make me do post production.
God damn it, post production's where it's at.
No, post is. I mean, I don't know. Like to each their own, but I think a little bit of post zooming can add to the effectiveness of the video
Absolutely.
content.
I don't have time. This shit's going live tomorrow.
You're a busy guy.
Whatever.
I was going live tomorrow. That's how quick.
Yeah.
Oh Jesus.
It takes me like my production time for my podcast is I film it and then it's out like probably a week after filming it, just because.
Yeah. It was because most of the time we end up talking about nerd news. If we wait a week, it's no longer relevant.
See what we do for our podcast.
I was just talking about my feelings.
We do it live, and then so that we can get like people, donating to give us money, like take off our clothing.
Do you do Twitch?
No, we just do YouTube live. And,
Okay.
And like no joke on our Halloween spooky cast, our Trident cast spooky cast, we were going through this like gift basket that this woman sent us. She's like a big super fan, and she sent us like underwear. And I mean they were nice. They were nice, and it was like Chicago themed. Like we just played in Chicago, and she was from Chicago, so she's like, "Here's some Chicago themed underwear." And I'm like, "Yo, real talk. If the chat drops $50 in super chats, I'll go put this underwear on, and that's all I'll wear for the rest of the podcast." And then boom, instantly $50. I'm like, fuck.
Yep.
So like you could do,
You're like, it's Chicago style underwear.
Never-
It's just covered in deep dish.
oh, so you could do that.
Never dare your audience to pay you.
No,
I mean, I wasn't mad.
so on YouTube live streaming, like they have the option to tip you and whatnot, like Twitch.
If you do
Yeah.
if you do public, they can do like these super chats. So you spend like any amount of money or like an amount of money that you can set, and then in the chat it'll come up in big giant colorful and it's super bold and it's like 24 point font, and it just stays in the chat for a while. And yeah. So then,
What, the username stays in the chat?
no, like whatever they chat in there.
Yeah.
So it could be like, you guys are super hot, $24, and it'll just like stay there for 5
so
minutes.
it's like a comment.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. It's a chat, but it's super.
But it's super
chat.
It's bold. It's in your
And
face.
colorful.
It's colorful.
Yeah.
Is it animated? Is there like little
You can
sparkly
add
things?
we've added in like code that whenever we get like a super chat or a subscriber, things come up and it's like
Yeah, Psycho Stick's live webcast that they do on Twitch is like they're really
Yeah,
good.
we're gonna be on that in like 2 weeks.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun doing that. Shouts out to all the Psycho Stick boys and Murph.
Yeah.
What's up, y'all? And Kooks.
We love
what's up,
Psycho
y'all?
Stick.
What's up, y'all? Hey, how you doing, guys?
The boys.
The boys.
The boys. We love them boys.
So
Supple, beautiful boys. Gorgeous,
rippling in the sun,
rippling, beautiful
sexy,
boys.
beautiful boys. All right, so this seems like a good opportunity to tell that story.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so this whole weekend, right? Ryan and I have been saying that gorgeous, supple, beautiful boys glistening in the sun.
You didn't tell it on the
No, I didn't. I didn't tell it. No, I didn't tell. So like, through a weird series of circumstances, are you guys familiar with the Canadian heavy metal band from the 70s named Thor?
of course,
Yeah.
Oh, you
yeah,
are?
John Michael Thor.
Yeah, John Michael Thor.
Yeah, I met him at a record shop in Ferndale recently.
So through a weird series of coincidences, a friend of mine asked me to
Zombie Nightmare.
do some. Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
A dude.
Adam West. Sorry.
A friend of mine.
See, I know nerdy shit.
Yeah.
I mean, Mystery Science Theater did Zombie Nightmare. And,
Yeah.
And John Michael Thor plays the zombie, but in the very beginning, he looks like just a greased up Eddie Van Halen.
Yeah.
And playing a I like the ting sound. Yeah. they like Mike and the Bots definitely gave it to him pretty hard.
So I.
Sorry, I keep interrupting you.
That's okay. Through a weird set of coincidences, I got asked to do some guest vocals for like this project of a friend of mine, and it turned out that it was Thor.
Yes.
Because like he was Thor's guitar player, and without going into too much like nitty gritty detail, I ended up singing on 2 of Thor's albums.
Yes.
And then we got to play with it. Like, and then I saw Thor a bunch, and we got to play with Thor. We actually were.
Did he bend the mic stand?
He didn't bend the mic stand. The first time I saw him, he bent a big steel bar.
Yeah.
With his teeth. It was awesome.
The dude is
He's ripped.
very strong.
He's super ripped.
He's not as like bodybuilder jacked as he was in the 80s.
Svelte.
No.
But the dude could definitely crush your head
He's
with
dad
his bare
jacked.
hands.
He's
yeah,
dad jacked.
Yeah.
So like,
Fuck yeah, Thor, dude.
so we were hanging out with Thor Wednesday night. He was getting inducted into the Heavy Metal Hall of Fame.
Okay.
And so
At NAMM?
No, it was
Yeah, where is
happening
that at?
happening at roughly the same. It was Wednesday night. It's not affiliated with NAMM, but around.
But it happens
around
at the same time.
Yeah.
Oh, it's in LA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we were. It's like a mile or so away from like the whole convention center area. So we went down there, and like Steve Vai was inducting Joe Satriani, and Joe Satriani was inducting Steve Vai like at the same time. They're like, "Here you go." Oh, you know.
Who inducted Thor?
Thor was not like an on stage inductee.
Oh, bullshit.
You know, I know. So on the way down, right, I was explaining to Ryan, who had no idea who Thor was, like all the stories about like how I know Thor and like all the weird, crazy Thor stuff that you see him doing on stage and shit like that. And the last time we played with Thor was in Minneapolis in April of last year. And the dude is like, I love his stage show, but man, sometimes the dude says the weirdest things that you're like on stage in between songs when he kind of like meanders and loses and like kind of loses the thread, you know, like for example, he was like, and he always does, like when you talk to him, he talks normal, you know, or he talked normal to us, but when he's on stage, he kind of does the wrestler voice a little bit like this, you know? And so he's like, Well, back in Vancouver, there was a beach that was a nude beach where I would go and there were ladies. And I would expose myself. Anyway,
good banter, Thor. Good banter.
This next one is called, Kill to Death. And you're just like, what?
Because most of the song titles are like Viking type stuff.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
talking about broadswords and all that Man of War type stuff.
Right.
Yeah, but that's a weird sequitur into a song about like riding a horse. Like I used to expose myself to the ladies.
So the one thing that he did that completely stuck with us was like,
yes.
He was.
I know where this is going now.
He was.
Yes.
He was introducing.
Yes.
He was introducing his backing band. He's like, look, this is my band. On bass, Ted Jedlicki, and on the guitar, John Leibel. And these are my friends from like this Minneapolis band, Dawn of Valor, and they're playing with Thor now. John Leibel, and on drum, blah 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 blah. It's like, look at these gorgeous boys. These are beautiful, gorgeous boys. Their mothers must be proud. These gorgeous boys. Oh. Look at my boys. Look at these gorgeous boys. And we're like, maybe Thor, maybe use a different phrase than like, look at my beautiful, gorgeous boys. And so like for the rest of the ride home from the fucking venue, we were like, look, we were just taking it to the next level. We're like, look at here's these beautiful, gorgeous boys, muscles taut, rippling in the sun, sweat dripping off of their tight muscles. These gorgeous, beautiful boys, these sexy, taut, rippling boys.
Never mind the whole drive home. Now here we are, however long later, still doing it.
We still talk about it, and anytime anybody says the word boys, it's like gorgeous, beautiful boys.
These beautiful,
sexy, supple boys,
gorgeous, flexy boys,
bendable boys.
Sometimes those tour inside jokes stick with you for the rest of your life.
Yeah, what's a tour inside joke that you have?
Fucking Cupcakes guy. We were in Cleveland and we were playing with all these new metal bands, and then this dude's like, he's all pumped. He's like, "All right, where are my moshers at? I want to see them going." And then he goes back and grabs something, and he grabs like a thing of Hostess cupcakes, and then he's like, still intense. He's like, "All right, who wants cupcakes?" And just throwing cupcakes. And then so we would just say, like, anytime we would see a band like that, it would just be like, "Who wants cupcakes?" Is there more to that, or is that how that went? That's what I remember.
It was definitely like the mid 2000s, so nu metal had yet to like really die out, and especially in Cleveland.
Yeah,
for some reason, in Cleveland, Ohio, it's still 1998. I don't know if it is anymore, but it was 1998 for like 7 years in Cleveland. Because I don't know, that's where Mushroom Head is from. There's a lot of like tough guy metal bands. But shouts out to Mushroom Head. We know the guys that are in it now, so no disrespect to Mushroom Head. But anyway, Peabody's tough guy metal, and the dude referring to the audience as his moshers, like they were his special little moshers. That was pretty funny.
Special little.
But it was like, but these tough guy metal bands, it was like during the breakdown of the song where it gets kind of slow before it like really picks up again, and he just like was like before it was about to kick back into the, but he's like, "Who wants cupcakes?" And Harry,
like someone's mom has a new metal band. Who wants cupcakes?
Yeah, but
yeah,
that's Cleveland for you, or that was. I mean, that was a long time ago, but yeah, that was
mosh for it.
Yeah. Where are my moshers?
My little moshers, my sweet little moshers. You better mosh for these.
That was
cupcakes.
the moment. Yeah, there's. I mean, I think really. A lot of the vernacular, it doesn't even necessarily have to be an inside joke, but there's words that are repeated a lot on tour. And
maw.
Yeah, like we call each other maw instead of man. It's like a really lazy way of saying. So
like half of that shit comes from Bobbins.
Yeah, well, Bobbins made up maw. So when we were on tour with Polka Dot Cadaver and Psycho Stick. And were you on that run?
I wasn't on the Polka Dot Cadaver run.
Which one were you on?
Fun Gone Wrong.
Oh, you were on that one. But yeah, so Maul was already going strong. But Maul.
And when we'd go shopping in the grocery store and we'd like lose each other, just all of a sudden you hear off in the distance, Maul!
Follow the Maul.
And another great one from that tour was, and I'm risking the fucking copyright strike.
Uh-oh.
Why you got to be so rude?
Yeah. Well, at the time, there's a Canadian band called Magic, and their name is spelled Magic with an exclamation mark, so they're called Magic. And they have a SoCal reggae infused pop jam about asking a father of your significant other to, like, I'm gonna marry her anyway, even if I don't get your approval, Dad. I'm gonna marry her anyway. I wonder if we actually sang the song, if you'd actually get a copyright strike.
Probably. That's why a lot of people who are professionals producing content on YouTube have a policy that they cannot sing. They will not sing.
Dude, the algorithms and the bots, man, they're on fire.
His cover of Beyonce's
we were
Diva
talking
got
about
flagged.
And not just flagged, but like, okay, so when you do a cover, right, you can buy a number of licenses through the Harry Fox agency so that you are above board. So like, somebody does a cover of this thing or the other thing and they put it on YouTube, it gets flagged and monetized, and the money goes to, the artist instead of you, or not the artist, more like the fucking agency that represents them.
The representation.
But if you like ahead of time buy, like for instance, like we did, you buy like 5,000 streaming licenses, right? Then your content can be viewed 5,000 times and the money will still go to you because you've already paid for the right to use that to make a cover, right? And the weird thing was, the interesting thing was like we did this Beyonce cover and we thought, okay, this is either going to blow up huge or it's going to fizzle out and it's going to do nothing. And it pretty much like fizzled. I mean, it did okay, right? But it didn't like blow the fuck up like we thought it was going to. And we bought 5,000 licenses and we're like, okay, well, if it gets close, we'll just buy some more right before we hit 5,000. And, a year-ish goes by and it's sitting at like 4,000 whatever views. And we forgot about it, and interestingly enough, I got one day out of the blue, just boom. Hey, just so you know, your thing has been claimed by, EMG Music Group or whatever. And I'm like,
copyright claim. It's not a strike.
It's not a strike.
Right,
it's just like,
claim.
hey,
we're gonna no more revenue for you.
Yeah, we're gonna run ads, and all the ad revenue is gonna go to these people. Yeah. I went and looked and saw what the view count on it was 5,001.
Yeah,
and so it was like they must have had a fucking bot just waiting on that music video.
It's ruthless, man.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's the future is now, and robots control the YouTube.
Are we going to see how many copyright strikes we can get?
Oh, God.
Let's try it, yeah. Let's just sing a lot of popular songs.
No.
Yeah. Let's sing Panic at the Disco next.
It's not like we make any money doing this or anything. But
I mean, somebody once told me that the world podcast is great. Somebody once told me that this podcast is great.
Fucking God damn it.
Yesterday, all of this podcast didn't. It was good. Hey, I didn't sing anything.
I don't know what's happening.
He's the worst.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
He's half threatening to sing.
No. It's day 5. It's day fucking 5 of NAMM, and I can't sing. And that was evident when they pulled me in to the booth to sing. So you guys know the Dio song they did for Hearing Aid, like We're Stars, right? Right? So they did like a We Are the World, but they brought in all the metal dudes.
Oh yeah, okay.
And so we're doing a remake of it.
Nice.
With all the singers that were at NAMM, and very, very last minute, the person organizing it was like, "Shit, somebody dropped out. Ty, can you come and sing like a stem of the song?" I'm like, "Fuck yes, I can." And then I was like, "Wait, I've been shouting at the top of my lungs in 120 decibel rooms for the last 5 days straight." So I get there into the vocal booth and I'm like, "We're stars." Well,
I'm sure you did all right.
Yeah, I probably did fine, but I'm gonna send her like a new take tomorrow.
I feel like singers never are at their best. I feel like there's always some shit.
Oh, we're
There's-
not.
There's no such thing as
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
best.
I feel like the only person that sings at their best is Celine Dion, and that's because she has like temperature and like a climate controlled stage, like humidity controls and whatnot.
You know what I heard about? You know what I heard about Celine Dion? You know what I heard about Celine Dion?
She's amazing.
She is amazing, but like she did like a residency in Vegas for like, I don't know, a year, and she was so serious about not using her voice at all.
And she didn't talk.
She didn't talk to her
During the day?
husband,
Yeah.
and they learned sign language so they could talk to each other.
wow.
Yeah, and that's not bullshit. That's
How many
real.
shows a day would she do when she was doing the Vegas residency?
Like 2, I think.
Well, that makes sense. You probably need to shut up if you're going to be singing 2 like full length shows
yeah.
Yeah, no
a day.
shit. No kidding.
But like, man, you go all the way to make.
So her
learning sign
husband, I don't
language.
think is alive anymore. And
Paul Horner.
no, it wasn't Paul Horner. The guy's name is Rene Jean-Paul.
Oh yeah, Renee.
Paul Horner just did the soundtrack to.
That was James Horner.
or James Horner. That's
Don't ask me how I know that, but I did own the CD version. I like the music. I like the music. I think. Yeah. You're gonna get flagged again, dude.
I just said near far. That's all I got.
That's all you need, man.
Yeah.
But what was I gonna say, James? Well, the thing is immediately when I thought it's like she didn't communicate with her husband or whatever, I was just thinking like what if like during the residency he was on his deathbed and she's like, I would like to say something, honey, but I have a show tonight, so I'm gonna sign language to the grave. Just a weird thought.
Sign language. Sign language. You to the grave.
to the grave.
Yeah, be like, goodbye, honey. I have a show tonight. But I don't think.
What if that's the new breakdown culture in the future? Is like, there's like chung 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 chung, and this dude's like sign language, like "fuck you, dad."
Well, I mean, you've seen some concert footage of aggressive signers, like while a concert is going.
Oh, yeah.
There's like a heavy band, like System of a Down, and I think there was a woman doing the sign language and like but very emotively. Doing
Oh,
it.
yeah.
It's very impressive.
Yeah.
Like no joke, like that shit's fucking cool because it's like if you can't hear the actual music, you would like for someone to be conveying the sign language with the same amount of intensity.
right.
You know?
I think they should add that into a live show. That then, like, it's like there's something different about the live show that you can't hear
Right.
on the record. Like you can only experience it live.
It's an energy.
you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
So every time I'm talking about my
Dick.
yeah, I would like for someone to really emote what I'm trying to convey through sign.
Yeah.
You're a fairly emotive person with
when
your
I'm
body
talking about my
language
kiki.
anyway.
Oh yeah. I feel like I feel if you.
I think watching you, someone who's deaf would probably still really, really enjoy that.
be like, I wonder if he's gonna have an aneurysm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
love watching your shows just because of like you, like
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
God damn, like fuck. The first time we played with you guys, I had heard stories, from other people, and then you came out, and I was like, "This is the fucking shit. I love this." Like,
dude.
because there's so many,
dude.
there's so many like singers and stuff that just don't perform.
Yeah.
And then when you come across like a person who's as in on like the performance as they are on like the music.
You
and
mean
shit
when
like
you
that.
come across a frontman?
A frontman, yeah. When you come across someone else who's like super dedicated to being a frontman, like then it's just like it warms the cockles of my heart. I don't even know what those are, but like it does.
I think what it is really is I don't even know if I necessarily would consider myself a musician. Like I kind of put myself in the.
Here, I got it. Sorry.
I
Look at me. I'm the Ryan now.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm a voice actor, and apparently I've got a nice butt. Let's see what this butt sounds like. Yep, there it is.
All of this is staying in the podcast.
That's a beautiful, gorgeous butt. Sexy butt. Yeah, well, he has to talk. He has to talk into it the rest of the podcast. So,
but what I was saying is, I think what it comes down to is, I'm not as into the music as I'm into the performance. Like that's why I do what I do, is because I get off on getting up in front of people and just like completely freaking out. It's a form of therapy to me, and really the music is secondary to me being able to to emote and communicate with a group of people and try to garner a reaction.
Right.
Like that's why I keep doing it, because that's when I feel the most free. That's when I feel the most connected to my inner self, is when I'm just losing it.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah, and that's why even that show we most recently did in Madison, like I had completely lost my voice.
Yeah.
But it's like I'm like, fuck it, dude. Like I'm just gonna still do what I do. It just isn't gonna be. There's not going to be notes.
Right.
Or
it was terrible. But it worked. The people had a blast.
It was great. It was fantastic.
People had a blast.
And when we were on the road with Psycho Stick on that run in Erie, Pennsylvania, where in that BT transmissions.
Were you there when I broke my guitar?
Because the drum riser was too high. Yeah. And you went to go step up onto it and you fucking planted. And it was the last song. It was Skate or Die. You broke the headstock off of your guitar and just turn around and walk back, walk out, and the song had just started.
It's all on YouTube. Someone posted it.
So
I watched it recently.
Fucking drop the guitar, grab the mic, and start doing the guitar line with your mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, I started singing. Yeah. But then those kids caught me. Like I straight up.
Dude.
I did a stage dive.
That was fucking great.
And I think at the time I probably was like weighing at like 220 or something. You remember when we were on Warped Tour and I weighed like 240 pounds and I still would crowd surf with those kids, those poor kids? I would just be all naked and sweaty all over us.
Wearing like basketball shorts with no underwear.
Oh, terrible.
Oh man.
Good times.
You remember when we played Toledo and he tried to jump off a chair and bashed his head into a girder? Like it was a left and then went to do a guitar solo on a pool table and split his pants.
Yeah.
Was that the same show?
Yeah.
I think that was different shows.
So no, I remember that. You were drunk
oh my god.
all the time then.
I had something very similar happen. Like we were opening for Skeleton Witch and 3 Inches of Blood, and I was like, shit,
yeah.
we gotta like make a good impression because this is a big fucking show. And so at the time I didn't have real leather pants. I just bought like pleather. Like I bought ladies pleather pants size 13 and a half. Like that was me, like live your truth. That's me. And and like I go, we go out there and they look all good. They're not all like shredded up like the other fucking ones I've got. And I go for like the first, we're the first song and I do this fucking high kick and the butt just splits wide open. And so for the rest of the show, I'm like crab walking in the front of the stage. I never turned around that whole show because like my Nintendo underwear was like flying out behind me.
Oh man.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, dude.
That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, I've split my pants a couple of times. Well, I used to weigh about 40 pounds more than I do now. And I've split my pants multiple times. Yeah, and there was a whole period of my life where I was doing no underwear. I was just like, I was rocking Commando. I was rocking Commando from like 03 until like 06.
What made
remember that, kids, when getting in front of your favorite band and they're about to stage dive. Yeah. Just remember that.
What made you? What was the decision? What made you go like, you know what? No underwear for the next 3 years.
It was my old bass player. He just was like, I don't wear underwear. And I'm just like, well, that guy's kind of cool. No, honestly, like he had, I just was like, well, fuck it. I guess if that dude doesn't wear underwear, like I'm not going to wear underwear. And I just stopped wearing underwear. But I got in this relationship and I got real comfortable. And so I wasn't wearing underwear, but I also like would wear the same pants. That's the thing.
Yeah.
That's the thing motherfuckers don't understand about when you go commando. And you wear the same pair of pants over and over again, like you're pretty much rubbing your bare naked ass on the same piece of fabric over and over again. To me, like underwear is important for two things. You have to cradle your balls and get a little bit of support in the testicles, A, and then B, I wear the same pair of pants like every single day. I don't want to be rubbing my fucking butthole up against the same fabric over and over again, day in, day out. So you got to change your underwear. I wear boxer briefs, Hanes boxer briefs.
Yep. I agree with that.
I wear MeUndies. They are legitimately the most comfortable pair
people
of
like those.
underwear that I've ever owned.
What
I own a whole bunch of them.
Is it the fabric? What differentiates me?
It's the softness of the fabric.
Modal.
Yeah, the micro modal. This episode of the Topless Robot podcast brought to you by MeUndies.
With micro modal.
MeUndies. Your balls have never felt safer or more comfortable. They allow you to breathe, and they are made from sustainable micromodal material.
Is that one of their selling points? That
Well,
makes your
yeah,
balls feel good?
that's what Bill Burr says about it whenever he does the ads.
Yeah.
And there's one where
Bill Burr is a proponent of it.
he sings, he'll make up songs, and
They pay
somebody,
Yeah.
somebody put piano
pay
to a song he just improv'd, and it's so good.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, my balls have never felt more consistently good in a pair of underwear. And I don't, especially walking around the NAMM floor for 5 fucking days, 4 or 5 days, chafing doesn't happen. It's the potential for chafe is high, but the chafe never comes.
Yep.
Well, thank you, MeUndies.
Yeah.
Speaking of balls and butts,
Yeah,
Ryan,
we're not actually sponsored, but
Ryan and I are really all about bidets and Japanese toilets.
Oh,
For me,
yes.
Japanese
yes.
toilet. And we were
Can I
talking
tell
about
a
this
quick
earlier.
story about that?
Yeah, dude.
Okay. I feel terrible sitting next to these gentlemen because I actually went to Japan where there was a bidet because I was dating a Japanese woman at one point in my life, and in 2011 she flew me to Japan.
Fuck.
And I was over there I was over there for about 10 days, and I did not even ask.
Aw, dude.
Let alone I'm a wet wipe dude. So you think
dude.
one step beyond wet wipes would be
It's even better.
yeah, that's what I'm
Way
saying.
better.
it really is.
So I just feel terrible because I have never used a bidet once in my life, and I was actually in a country where I was privy, and one was in my presence, and I just didn't even
And you
ask.
almost stayed at my house, and you're probably going
And
to
you
stay at
have
him.
crashed at my place countless times. I've had bidets on those toilets.
Look, dude. The next time you stay with
let's
either
make
of
it
us,
happen.
let's do it. Let's
know
live
what?
stream it. Let's
All right.
fucking figure it out.
I'm down.
We'll facilitate you treating your butthole right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because once you get used to it, and then you're pooping at work, and you're looking at the toilet paper, and you're like,
Toilet paper's terrible.
What are we
Yeah.
fucking barbarians?
Yeah.
God, I hate the fact
I don't use
that-
toilet paper.
I hate the fact that bidets are so commonplace in other parts of the world, and then here it's like what is this shit? I don't wanna do that.
I
You're
don't
also
know.
saying that
my
in
butt hold the
California.
water.
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess. Yeah.
where they are in a constant state of drought.
But you know what? One of the biggest awesome things about Japanese toilets is that they had this whole design contest to see if they could figure out a way to use less water on the Japanese toilets. And almost all the Japanese toilets that you buy in the house, right? You have the bidet feature, you have all that shit. But then when you flush the toilet, there is a spout, like a faucet on the top of the toilet that only activates when you flush, and it refills the top of the tank. You use that to wash your hands.
Yeah, I've seen that.
I've
It's just
seen
gray
that,
water.
yeah.
That's standard almost everywhere, and that's so fucking smart.
Yeah, super smart.
Why don't we have that? Why don't we have toilet technology? I want toilet technology.
Because our tax dollars are going to bomb other countries for their natural resources.
No, and also instead, our government is busy telling us to shit less or flush more.
You ain't gonna get me to shit.
No,
less, girl.
not flush more. It was shit less, I think.
Shit less, flush.
Isn't that what Trump said?
Flush more, shit less. Flush more, shit less.
And now we've come back to the Ukraine problem. We're talking more about
We've gone full circle. Okay, so I want to talk real quickly about a conversation I overheard And I thought it was a very American conversation today in the gym. And there's always very weird conversations that occur in the locker room, the men's locker room at the gym.
Right.
This gentleman was talking to another gentleman about cancer and how his dad had died of colon cancer. And I was thinking to myself, well, my father, he died of colon cancer as well. So I was immediately intrigued to hear what they were talking about. And he's like, yeah. And he's like, so I went to the same doctor that my dad went to make sure that he would like go up my butthole. And, as queer as that sounds, it's like, I wanted to make sure that I didn't have colon cancer. So who better to go up my ass than the doctor that went up my dad's ass? And he's like, it sounds kind of gay, I know, but and so that was the whole conversation was like, it was weird to me because he was talking about I need the guy who went up my dad's ass.
Wow.
To go up my ass, as gay as that sounds. And I was like,
my God.
And I was thinking to myself, but he had to keep referencing that. I know that sounds gay, but I'm just like, well, actually, if you think about it, that's actually the way to go because you share a genetic. You share what's
sure, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes logical sense.
The doctor gets up there and like, I've seen this before.
His reasoning is not that.
Right.
Well, I don't even think it's his reason. I just think it's funny that like men in America, if they're talking about something that makes total sense, but they have to just throw in the I know that sounds gay.
Yeah, they need to throw in the no homo.
But it's literally, but it's like everything about being in the locker room of a gym is totally gay.
Oh, super gay.
Yeah, it's just
Also,
a bunch.
Why do you think a lot of like gay pornos are set in like dudes' lockers?
Because it's the
crazy
hottest
gay.
place in the world.
Also, like dudes in general, all dudes just need to get more fucking comfortable with their own sexuality and stop thinking that every single thing is questioning or putting their sexuality up for
No, because all he could have said to this dude is he could have just been like, okay, so my father died of colon cancer, and so I went to the same doctor just to make sure that because we're from the same what's it called, lineage.
Yeah.
I wanted to just
Bloodline sounds more metal.
What's that?
Bloodline sounds more
So
metal.
we're from the same bloodline
There you go.
with the same anus. I wanted to make sure that my anus didn't suffer the same perilous consequence.
I shan't be
He's like, as homosexual as that might sound, it actually is a very practical line of thinking. But
he didn't even have to prep it. He didn't even have to say that. He's like, I felt like getting a checkup, because my dad died of colon cancer, so I went to my doctor. Like, why do you have to add in all those extra things? Like,
because when you're in a room with a bunch of fucking dudes washing their balls, you have to say, "I'm not gay, I swear," but
honestly, though, I think that it's perfectly appropriate to make the joke of like, now he's been in by both me and my dad.
Well, yeah.
And but leave it at that.
I thought that was funny.
Not then throw in no homo or some variation of that.
But I have a million examples, and I'm not gonna like going to
Welcome to the Inappropriate Locker Room Conversation podcast.
Yeah, no, seriously, there could be a whole podcast just on that because it's hilarious. If you don't have noise canceling headphones and you're just listening to other people's conversations, it's hilarious.
Is that why you bought those today? Like, did that conversation be like, all right, noise canceling headphones?
No, I bought noise canceling headphones. I bought Bluetooth headphones because I was riding my bike yesterday and I almost like ran into traffic because my wire wrapped around my knee and pulled my headphones.
Jesus.
Yeah. And I'm just like, okay, it's about time I go Bluetooth. So.
Yeah.
And on top of that, what's crazy about these headphones that I got, they were only like $60 or $70, but they actually have like bass response and they sound amazing. I put on some like newer music that has like sub bass, and I'm like, dude, these have bumps, dude. It's great. but it's just wild to me because for the longest time I just had these like crappy $15 Sony wraparound.
I know
headphones.
I know the ones that you're talking about that go around the back here.
Yeah,
it's got the plastic that hangs,
just super cheap. But like to put on some actually like they cover your ears, so they what's the word? It's not noise canceling, but it's
sure
muffling.
It keeps
it muffles the noise.
Yeah.
It's over ear. Yeah.
It's just so the sound quality is amazing.
Yeah.
The future's now. It's really quite a weird time to be alive.
Mm-hmm. It really is. It really is. Especially considering we're all about to die.
Yep.
At some point, it's gonna happen. I was thinking about that today. I was walking around. I'm like, Neil, like like enjoy it while you can. Cause
Sooner than we think, if because of the situation in Ukraine,
The Ukrainian situation.
in Iran.
Well, I think there's so many situations that could potentially be our demise. It's just pick one. Which one is it going to be? Is it going to be climate change? Is it going to be World War III?
Climate change is not as looming as the Iran thing.
You think so?
Climate change, they've said that we have
4 years.
If we change nothing, if we change nothing, we've got until 2100 to let's see.
Well, I don't plan
to not die.
Yeah, I don't plan on having children, so fuck.
It's like
I'm not having kids.
If I remember
Let's
right,
light this aluminum.
if I remember right, it was saying like by the year 2100, there will have been a 3-degree shift.
I mean,
if we change nothing,
I think what we should do. I think what we should do is we should just do what happened in like the second Highlander movie, and we just cover the entire world with like a yellow sheath. That keeps out the climate change.
You know what we should do?
And then everybody gets all depressed because it's like we're living in a yellow world and everything's terrible. And,
We should do what Kurt Russell did at the end of Escape from LA, and we should just fucking hit the button that makes technology go back to the dinosaurs. Just get rid of it all in one click. and then Kurt Russell just walks away slowly.
hell yeah, dude.
Snake Plissken.
Snake Plissken.
Okay, that's an amazing. Snake Plissken is an amazing name. But and Ryan got to meet this guy today. I was in a band out in LA. I guess I am still in this band. It's kind of more like a recording project, but it's an Elon Musk power metal tribute project.
You told me about this. Yeah.
Called Raptor Command. The bassist name. And this is his like actual on his driver's license, not a stage name. Like this is his
Birth certificate name.
Birth certificate name is, wait for it, Jericho Law.
Nice.
That's so fucking cool. And the guitarist's name is, and this again, birth name, Deacon Lacrosse.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
Some
and
strong names.
Yeah.
Strong names.
It's like
then you've got Ty Christian.
Ty Christian, nice to meet you. How's everybody doing? I just like to sing songs about renewable energy, right? Come on, everybody. And a 1, and a 2, and a 3.
Well, they definitely won the lottery. Because, a name is something you don't even get to choose.
Yeah,
Right. And he looks like a fucking Jericho Law. Like the dude looks badass.
Yeah. Well, and what amount of that do you think was informed by having been born with that name?
If I was born with Jericho
You have a lot to live up to.
Yeah.
you'd have to.
Yeah.
I'd get
You have
fucking
to be
tattoos
awesome.
everywhere and like be ripped too.
Yeah.
Like, Jericho
Say, I am-
fucking Law.
Jericho Law, what are you going to be when you grow up? I must be awesome. I must be jacked.
Mm-hmm.
Jericho Law.
He's the dude with the attitude. Jericho Law.
Jericho Law coming at you at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Only on Fox 20.
Damn it, Jericho, you don't play by the rules because I don't have to. Jericho Law.
Oh, man.
It's in the name.
He's breaking down walls.
Oh, God. That's amazing. Yep.
Well, that's pretty cool. You are in a band with strong named men.
Jericho Law.
Are they beautiful boys?
They're gorgeous, beautiful, wonderful, rippling in the sun.
Rippling, supple,
Good Lord, supple boys.
supple, beautiful boys.
I think it's only fitting that Thor has like really bad banter, like because
He is an interesting dude.
Yeah,
he is a real interesting dude.
I think if anything, that would just adds to the live experience. Just like
it totally does.
Just some like awkward Thor,
Yeah.
And like consider. Okay, I will say this, like real talk. Considering his background and considering the albums and considering like the movies and stuff like that. The first time I saw him, I went into this going like, "Oh boy, like what is this is?" And and he's like. He's not a spring chicken. Like he's an older dude at this point.
Yeah.
Which is that's not necessarily.
Is he in his 50s or early 60s?
Early 60s. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And so I went to this first show going like, "Whoo boy," and then he gets out there and I see the show. He fucking kicked ass live.
Yeah.
His live show was awesome.
Yeah.
He was really good, and it like blew me away. My expectations were like super down here, and then he came out with like this, and I'm like, man, this guy's good. Like his banter, not so great, but everything else, like fucking amazing. And
That's the thing. You could have weird banter, but if you got a kick-ass band, then that makes up for a lot.
Well, and I think, like you said, like the banter actually added to it, because now we have this thing that we're just saying for the rest of our lives.
Yeah.
He supplemented your life with hilarity.
Yeah.
So thank you
Beautiful
for
boys.
I have given you the supplements.
The gifts of beautiful
supple
boys.
mints, supple boy mints, supple minty boys.
Oh God, it's so good.
I got this restless leg thing down on this podcast.
And, I mean, you've all heard that Anchor is his middle name.
Anger is his middle. Have you seen his music videos?
It's been a minute. I've seen a bunch though. Yeah,
I've only really seen that documentary they had out where it kind of followed him around.
Fun fact about the documentary at the very beginning, where they're talking about that he used to be a porn actor and all that sort of stuff, right? And they might have fixed it in Netflix, but like when I watched it, when it like came out initially, they had all these pictures of him like porn pictures, like nude, him like the shots of like the promo shots that he would like send around, for his porn acting thing. And they had like a bunch of them, and I think they had like a layout. There was one shot where it was a layout, and they had a bunch of a bunch of big ones, and then down in the corner there was a real little one, right? They blurred out his dick in every single shot, except for the very small one down in the corner. They forgot to blur out his dick. The first time I met him, I'm like, hey, seen your dick.
Well, when I met Ron Jeremy, I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
Because, when I first discovered pornography and sex and all that, I was in middle school, and it was like pre-internet. So there was a magazine that got passed around my middle school.
Whoa.
That, like, everyone kind of like, it got passed around to the different friend groups. And it was straight up, it was a porno mag from the 70s that just like took stills from adult movies. And Ron Jeremy was like in a lot of the films. So I remember like being just first learning about what sex was and seeing Ron Jeremy fucking like, I was like 12, 13, but it was pre-internet. It was like mid 90s.
Yeah.
And so when I finally sat down with Ron Jeremy, he got flown out to do this event that we were doing in Detroit, where he was hosting a pimp and hoe party that Downtown Brown was playing at. I just remember being like, hey, sir, you taught me about sex, which he kind of did. And I just remember being like, this guy's really hairy. Like, that was my initial thought. And then I'm
they call him the hedgehog.
And I'm like, oh, that's what fucking is. Because my father never sat me down and had that conversation with me. He was too busy watching golf to explain to me the birds and the bees. So thank you, Ron Jeremy, A, for teaching me about sex. And thank you, B, Ron Jeremy, for explaining to me and passing down the wisdom that ketchup is good for your prostate, because that's what he told me at the Coney Island restaurant.
Is that ketchup is good for you?
He goes, they've said that ketchup is good for your prostate. I was like, thanks, Ron Jeremy.
That's a great Ron Jeremy.
He's also narcoleptic.
Really?
Yeah, we're driving around in a limo with him, and there was a mix CD that we were playing inside the limo, and one of the songs on it was Queen. Somebody to Love, and he demanded that we play it on repeat, and he was just like staring out the window of the limousine like longingly as Freddie Mercury was doing the Somebody to Love. But Ron Jeremy would go from longingly staring out the window to being totally passed out with his tongue hanging out, and it was hilarious because he was given an Altoid, like he asked for an Altoid earlier in the limo ride. And when his tongue was hanging out, the Altoid was like perfectly placed in the center of his tongue. So Ron Jeremy's like having this contemplative moment staring out the window. And then he like all of a sudden is like passed out with an Altoid on his tongue. but he was shifting from like both, right?
Yeah.
And then he'd be like, play that. He would like come to, be like, play that song again. And then he'd be like, play it again. Yeah, that was
that's surreal.
That was when I hung out with Ron Jeremy.
That's
the man who taught me about
really
fucking.
Weird. I'm sure he has to have gotten that before. Like people have to have been like, you taught me sex.
Well, what's weird is I'm pretty sure I want to say like 60 to 80% of boys probably learn about fucking from watching porn.
Absolutely.
Because I don't know. I don't even know if that could even be a perfect statistic or even like close. But,
of course,
but I know for me, for me, like I never was. My mom just said, "Now, sex is what happens when two people love each other, and magic happens, and fairy dust and wings, and it's a beautiful thing shared by two people who care about each other." That was her explaining sex to me, and my dad just was like, "Click, click."
I don't remember ever having it. Like neither my mom nor my dad. I don't remember.
So no one explained sex to you. You had to figure it out.
My parents gave me a fucking like a picture book, but like an animated.
That's
an
wild.
animated picture.
And I think
that's more than my parents did.
I think I've talked about this on the podcast before, but what I did learn from someone else is one of my friends told me about masturbation.
Oh, I learned about that a video in school.
When I was a little kid, having a sleepover, my buddy was just, and this was a multiple stage thing, right? So
I got stories.
Because it started with, I'm sleeping over at my buddy's house. And he goes, "Dude, if you spit in your hand and put it around your dick, it feels really good." I was like, "Whoa, really?" Dude,
You did it right then and there?
Yeah,
like in front of him?
It was the lights off, and we were having a sleepover.
Sweet, man.
Oh, the lights are off. Okay. Well.
Yeah. Like it's lights out.
I remember having sleepovers and talking to my young friends, and I remember I have a very vivid memory of I was like, we were talking about this girl that we liked on this whitewater river rafting trip we went, and this is before any of us had busted a nut. Yeah. But I remember like we were talking about her, and I was just like laying on my stomach and like humping the bed, and it just came like it was a natural thing.
Sure.
Like I didn't know what masturbation even was at this point.
Yeah.
But I knew that if I thought about this girl that I liked and started humping the bed, it felt good. So I'm just kind of like, yeah, I would used to hump the bed.
Feed the monkey.
Used to hump the bed. I have we could go on if we want to get into like discovering discovering our penis discussion, we could have a whole fucking hour and a half.
Penis cast.
But yeah, in my case, with the whole masturbation thing, movement wasn't discovered until later.
Oh, you were just grasping.
You're just holding
just holding it. Yeah. Yeah. So no movement. Movement came later. Movement was a later discovery.
To me, movement was always part of the equation. I just didn't realize until I was in middle school that like if you move it a whole lot, that something happens. You know what I mean? That was something that was explained to me by another boy. Like if you move it enough, it spits.
Oh my God.
I've always been an internet nerd, so like I learned pretty much everything. Even like, and I know we were saying
I didn't have the internet.
I know we were saying like mid '90s. Well, okay, yeah, but how before internet? Because like there was fucking Prodigy.
No, this is before Prodigy.
Well, you people are old farts.
I'm talking 93.
And dead inside.
Yeah.
How old are you?
So
I'm 35.
Okay,
I'm 37.
So there's not that much of a difference.
Yeah, see, well, I had fucking internet. I learned all about this through the internet.
I didn't. The first time I ever saw dial-up internet, I was in 8th grade, so it was like 94.
So
and it was Prodigy. Yeah.
I was in 5th grade with dial-up internet, but I was in 3rd grade when I learned how to masturbate.
Okay, well, I was not masturbating in 3rd. You were in advanced class. You were in the.
You got an early start, bro.
You were in the genius like class of wanking it. You were like a captain. You were a captain.
I was a pioneer.
You were a pioneer. You were captain of the wank field, the wank ball field. I mean, like you were really flogging that dolphin. Even when the dolphin was what is it? A young dolphin, a pup.
A supple, beautiful boy.
Beautiful boy. What do they call young dolphins? What is a young dolphin called? A calf, a pup,
a calf, I think.
A calf. Okay, you were in dolphin calf flogging the calf. That's what you were flogging that calf.
Yeah, I remember. I remember I was in 3rd grade in Mrs. Henriksen's class, and I remember I would just like I would get a little miniature, Neil boner, and I would put do you remember the desks where it's the wood top and then it's the I don't know if aluminum or steel?
Yeah.
Okay, and what I would do is I didn't.
And
know,
they go like.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't know what I was doing, but I would wedge a pencil in between myself and the desk and just kind of wiggle around.
What? So you were okay. This is weird.
Wow.
Man. Yeah. This took a really weird turn.
Yeah,
it really did.
Yeah.
And on that note.
I mean, is it weird?
No.
Is that-
No, but
I
I,
don't
mean,
think
like,
so.
it's like,
But we have legitimately gotten towards the end of the podcast.
yeah.
Oh no, because it's just getting good.
We're just starting to talk about our third grade masturbation ritual.
Well, that's the thing is I didn't even know what masturbation was. All I knew is like here, like there's this thing that's connected to me, and it acts like what's it called involuntarily.
Yeah.
Here's this thing that's acting involuntarily, and when I touch it, it like I want to touch it more. So I don't know.
That is evolution in action.
Yep.
It's just no one ever explained it to me. I just had to figure it out on my own, and with Ron Jeremy's help. So. Thanks, Ron.
Thanks, Ron.
Well, since we have gotten to the end of the podcast, I think everyone already sort of said where you can be found, I think. But just do it again.
I'm Ty. I'm the singer for Lords of the Trident. Go to lordsofthetrident.gov, lordsofthetrident.net.
I want to talk more about what we were talking about.
Well,
do a
we'll do a
Pornhub.com/Lords of the Trident. lordsofthetrident.com. If you really like what we're doing, go to patreon.com/Lords of the Trident. We are the number one unsigned metal band on Patreon. We are the number one most funded for a reason, because we put out a whole crap ton of content. And so if you like stuff like this, or you like other metal related stuff, go there. Patreon.com/Lords of the Trident.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah, dude.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Hell yeah, dude. That's it.
Hell yeah, dude.
No, we got a new record on Spotify called Yeah, Dude.
Yeah, and yeah. Check out Downtown Brown. We've been playing music for almost 20 years, and we have a lot of content on the internet. And yeah. And I do a podcast called Subcast with Neil P, where we're going to further delve into this whole
Yeah.
No, I think it's an interesting subject because most people I talk to, they discover their bodies without even knowing what it is at a really early age. And I got to talk. I'll talk to I'm going to have Allie on. We'll have a big, long conversation. She's freaky. She was getting freaky with herself probably like when in grade school and stuff. So,
and
are we early bloomers, or is that what everyone goes through?
I have no idea.
I think you are early bloomers.
The earliest thing, like I got, my mom walked in on me when I was 3 years old.
Early.
Playing with a friend, like a family friend's, girl who was like around my age, playing with her butt.
See, this is what I'm saying. You were like
I never got.
You were in the genius class, man. You were the captain of the wank ball field. I mean, like that's what it was.
Well,
but yeah, on Subcast, Neil will talk more about
do a deep
penis
dive.
and discovery and
male
all
anatomy.
that stuff.
Well, I just think as human beings, we are given things that operate.
You can go to Subcast for that and interviews with people like HR from Bad Brains.
We do not talk about that kind of stuff with HR.
And Monkey from Addicts and all kinds of.
We've had some notable guests,
people,
but just mostly weirdos.
Yeah,
just trying to talk about life and whatnot.
What was the name of the Denny's band? Wacko.
Yeah, there's a band that went viral recently playing a Denny's, and they were on the show. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
we talked about Insane Clown Posse.
That was one of the most interesting. Just that group of kids is incredibly.
Oh, they're special.
Yeah,
and I mean that like literally. They're just a special group of people.
Yeah.
So.
And the support that they get from Duder's dad, like just how in
it's
it
cute.
He is fucking great.
It really is an inspiring thing to see. Here's this like hardcore, like what do they call it? Power violence, or like a power violence band.
Yeah.
And but their like mascot is this man in his 60s that like was around for Woodstock, and he's just like, these are great kids, and I bought them a van.
Yeah.
And they're doing great things.
And it's their bass player's dad.
Yeah. But it's just lovely.
Yeah.
The sentiment was very. I just told him on the podcast, I'm like, I wish my father supported my artistic endeavors like this. That would have been very nice.
Hell yeah, dude.
Oh yeah, dude.
Hell yeah, dude. All we want ultimately is for our dads and moms to be proud of us.
Yep.
And to come home from getting cigarettes.
Yeah. Please come home, Mom.
All right. On that note, I'm going to end it there. Thank you, everybody, for watching and or listening. Keep an eye out for the B-Side podcast, which is myself and Ty and Sarah Longfield and Glenn Fricker and Colin Scott. And that was a lot of fun as well.
Notable guests.
I'm so tired.
We will be back to our normal podcasting group next week.
Except I'm the new Tyler now. Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
I'm taking off today and breathe. Sometimes you have to sit if you want to make a stand. Hate the shit, taking liberties. Taking liberties.
Luke, it says I'm locked out of my account again.
Subscribe.